Hey geeks, welcome to So Bad It's Good. Before I jump into mazes and monsters, what's something that you've seen that's so bad it's good? Put it in the comments. Today's selection comes from Retro Nerd 184, who posted a video, which I will link to this video, about E.T., and in that video he mentions this video, Mazes and Monsters. Mazes and Monsters is also the first full-length movie starring this guy. Yep, that's right, Tom Hanks. Now, this movie was made for television, so the video quality, it ain't great. And the writing ain't much better. But Tom Hanks shows his acting chops because he is definitely the strong actor amongst the four you see pictured here. What's great about this film is that it is a part of the satanic panic that happened throughout the late 70s and early 80s. If you don't know what the satanic panic is, it is when you had a bunch of evangelical Christian families and leaders that were freaking out about things that were marketed towards kids that they felt were satanic. That could include E.T. It included Masters of the Universe, even Star Wars, that Yoda was some sort of demon. But, of course, the top billing for satanic influence, besides rock and roll, was Dungeons and Dragons. Apparently, this made-for-TV movie is based on a book called Mazes and Monsters. And, of course, Mazes and Monsters is a play on Dungeons and Dragons. And there's a treasure trove of bad special effects and pretty awful costuming, including this character who is like a 16-year-old genius who's at college and for whatever reason wears a multitude of hats in most of the scenes. It's like his shtick. I don't get it. But what is even more unbelievable is the melodrama that you have that ensues. First of all, Tom Hanks's character falls in love with the only female Dungeons and Dragons player, Mazes and Monsters player. And then, of course, they break up because of his psychotic break where he's confusing reality with fantasy, and she ends up dating this guy who gave me vibes that he was just closeted. I wasn't sure. But another thing that's super weird is the dude with the hat is feeling sort of down about himself and so forth, and he at one point decides that he's just going to take his own life, but he wants to do it in a super dramatic way. So he goes to these catacombs that are like off limits and forbidden. And he decides instead, you know what? Let's take Mazes and Monsters and let's make it LARPing instead. And of course, the crux of the plot is Tom Hanks's character dealing with this guilt about his brother who abandoned him when he was young, and he's trying to find him, but he never does. And so that's how he has this psychotic break where he becomes the character that he was playing in Mazes and Monsters. What's actually really smart about this movie, though, is how it rides the line between pro D&D and anti-D&D. First of all, you have all four characters here who have less than desirable home lives. Their parents have unrealistic expectations or are detached or just not even there. So does this make these four individuals more susceptible to the evils of Dungeons and Dragons? Or is it the actual reason why you have characters who are struggling psychologically? You also see these four characters as pretty popular characters at their university. The guy with the hat hosts several parties in his dorm room apartment thing, and they are packed to the gills. So these aren't outcasts. Thus portraying Mazes and Monsters as a cool thing to do for young people. But then you have the police detective or chief of police or whatever he is who's trying to figure out what's happened to Tom Hanks's character because he's gone missing. And he very much is Mazes and Monsters is bad. I've seen this kind of thing happen before. So that's your satanic panic character. And he's not portrayed as foolish. So it's actually pretty smart how this made-for-TV film caters to both an older audience who might be behind the satanic panic, and they cater to a younger audience who wants adventure and camaraderie and popularity, because these 4 characters have all of those things. So if you want to check out this film, it is available to watch for free on the Peacock app. What's something that's so bad it's good? Put it in the comments or stitch this video and let me know. Maybe I'll check it out myself.